I am Frank Kingdon. I am not here to talk for Millard Bennett. He can talk for himself as eloquently as any man I know. And that explains why I am saying these few words. The next voice you hear will be the voice of one of the most remarkable men I know. The voice of my friend Millard Bennett, author of The Power of Inspired Salesmanship. A book for you to buy and cherish all the rest of your life. I advise you to listen with both ears and all your heart to what Millard Bennett will say to you. His words may easily mark the turning point of your life to success, as they have marked those of other people. The big truth about these words of his is that they come out of his own life and experience. He is not talking about something that he has read in other people's books. He's talking about the principles by which he himself has molded his own life. Because he has proved these true and inspiring for himself, he is sharing them with you. He started out in life scrawny and weak physically. Yet in the First World War, he was awarded recognition as one of the finest physical specimens in the United States Army. And still today, he exercises regularly and is the finest physical specimen for his age that I know. Again, as a young man, he was denied many of the advantages of higher education, felt himself inferior to many of his contemporaries. Today, he is recognized as a master business mind, and audiences in every state of the Union and overseas eagerly seek to hear him. Both physically and intellectually, he has proved that weakness can be turned into strength. Here, he tells you how he has done it. He gives you a power-packed program by which you too can do it for yourself. Here now is Millard Bennett to tell you how to use the power of inspired salesmanship, not only to sell more, but to enrich your whole life.
This is Millard Bennett on Band 2, bringing you a condensation of my book, The Power of Inspired Salesmanship. I want to set the stage for what I am going to say to you on these records by telling you a story about my friend, whom you just heard, Dr. Frank Kingdon, and a college chum of his named Bert. Once, when they were in college together, they went for a swim off the south shore of Boston Harbor. After their swim, they lay in the sand, in the sun, thoroughly relaxed. Bert began to talk. He talked about the routine job at which he was working to put himself through college. He was an expert stenographer. Then he began to talk about what he would like to be. As young men sometimes do when they are with a friend, he opened his heart and told his dreams. Frank's memory often goes back to that conversation, though 40 years have passed, because Bert's dreams have come true. He is today a minister of high reputation upon whom his fellow ministers have bestowed many honors because he has proved himself a leader among them. Frank thinks a lot about this because he remembers that, as they sat in the sun that other day, he was a bit sad. He was sad because it seemed to him that Bert was dreaming about the impossible and would someday be disappointed. Here was a young man doing what men in all ages have done. He was contrasting two pictures in his mind, the picture of the man he was and the picture of the man he would like to become. He might have been you. Whether you are 16 or 60, you too are a man with dreams. What I am going to tell you on these records is how you, like Bert, can without fail become tomorrow the man that today you dream of becoming. I shall show you the rules for making your dreams come true.
Honestly, that was a speed run.
Remembering the story of Bert, who made his dreams come true, now I want to talk to you about you. Let us begin by taking a look at you. I know something about you. You are listening to this record right now because you are not satisfied with yourself, with your job, with what you are now getting out of life. You have two pictures of yourself in your mind. You see yourself as you are. You have a dream of yourself as you would like to be. You are dissatisfied when you contrast that dream with a vision of what you would like to be. Now mark this. This inner dissatisfaction is the creative urge in you. It is the divine discontent which pushes men to achieve. Your inner dissatisfaction is something deep within yourself telling you that you can be bigger, better, and richer in achievement tomorrow than you are today. I put alongside this thought another one. You need not for a moment think that you cannot reach the ambition of which you dream. For here is a truth for you to grasp and believe. Nature has given you a built-in device to make you grow and to keep on growing, mentally and spiritually, as long as you live. There are natural laws for using this equipment. I have studied these laws just as I have studied the laws of physical development. What I am saying to you on these records consists of nothing more or less than scientific laws for personal achievement, which I have proved are as true for the mental and spiritual life as the laws of diet and exercise are for the body. These are nature's own laws. Follow them, and you cannot possibly fail to uncover and develop every talent and power you possess. Now let me add this. It is not enough just to know these laws. They will serve you only as you obey them. This means that you must practice them. You must practice them regularly. You will practice them regularly only when you have a plan for doing so. My first suggestion to you, therefore, is this. Decide now on a specific hour every day which you will devote to the study and practice of the laws for inspired living. Just as the athlete has his regular time for daily exercise, set up yours. It is the man who sets for himself a definite goal and makes regular progress toward it by planning his course and sticking to it day after day without fail who finally gets where he wants to go. I call my first chapter on how to develop your personal powers by this title, What You Dare to Dream, Dare to Do. I put this first because, and mark this carefully, I have learned through contacts with literally thousands that most people stumble through life without making their dreams come true because they underestimate themselves. They start out by saying, I can't, and they stop right there. I tell you without any hesitation that by studying and practicing the laws I bring to you, you can become greater than you are, and, what is more, greater than you now think you can ever be. This album will relate the stories of men like Churchill and Edison, who started out under the cloud of handicaps and even the reputation of being not quite bright, who are now universally acclaimed as geniuses. I am convinced that most people of above average intelligence, and this includes you would not be listening to this record if you were not in this category, can achieve power and accomplishment which will lift them to the rank of genius. There is a golden thread that runs through the life of every genius, every man of unusual accomplishment. It is the golden thread of persistence. This is the first law of personal development. One quality alone can take your natural powers, sharpen them to a fine point, and aim them straight at your target. And that quality is persistence. Not just persistence in general, but your persistence, your own dogged, day by day moving toward your goal under your own power and your own control. Through persistence, you will develop skill. Your skill is what you get paid for, whether you are a tailor or a corporation executive. And skill is something you can acquire for yourself. It is made up of 4 parts: knowledge, experience, initiative, and ingenuity. Your knowledge is the sum of the information you have gained. Your experience is the testing and clarifying of your knowledge by trial and practice. Your initiative is your self-reliance, energy, and daring in applying your knowledge and experience to new undertakings. Your ingenuity is your ability to apply your knowledge, experience, and initiative to new situations. Your skill is all 4 of these combined into practical methods of work. You can develop your own skill by improving yourself in each of the components of skill. First, I shall give you a simple, surefire, tested, and proved formula for increasing your knowledge, the initial stage in the development of skill. All things in nature change. Nothing is this minute exactly what it was a minute ago or what it will be a minute hence. As this law of nature functions ceaselessly on plant and flower, mountain and sea, so it works constantly on each one of us, including you. Within this law of change works the law of life and death. You and I and every other living person at this very moment are either growing into a fuller life or we are declining towards death. We are either going forward or backward. We never stand still. There is no such fact in experience as maintaining the status quo. The human mind, every mind, yours and mine, is constantly doing one of 2 things, learning or forgetting. If we neglect it, it forgets. Only when we stimulate it will it learn. This is a law of the human mind as inescapable as change itself. The capacity of the mind to forget is tremendous. Think of your own school years. During your school days, you were filling your mind with information all the time and in great quantities. When your school days ended, you stopped learning at the same fast rate, but your mind went right on forgetting. Think of all the things you once knew, which you have now forgotten. The mind is like a tank with a slow leak. Unless liquid is added to it as fast as it is leaking out, the tank will eventually be drained, empty. As surely as that, unless we add to our store of knowledge every day, we shall every day become more and more mentally ineffective. Or you might liken the mind to a fighter. Unless he keeps in regular training, he loses his edge. True, you may agree. But how is it possible for me, with a full day's work to do, to keep myself mentally alive and growing? On the next band, I'm going to tell you a story, a true story, that I told to a salesman one day. It changed his life, and if you believe it and put its recommendations into practice, it could turn out to be the greatest idea for improving your own life that you have ever encountered. I have proved it in scores of cases. You can prove it for yourself if you adopt the simple formula I shall give you. I will introduce it on the next band with a true story of a salesman whose life it changed. One day I was sitting at the counter of a drugstore in Radio City when I was joined by one of the salesmen of the company of which I was vice president and general manager at the time. We had just finished a sales meeting of our Eastern Division, so I was familiar with the fact that this man's record showed that he did very well with small buyers, but wasn't as successful with the big ones. I probed into this a bit, and soon he was telling me that he had had very little schooling, and that he felt a lack of confidence in himself when he called on big shots. Suppose it were possible, I asked him, for you to spend 30 minutes a day for the next 12 months with the greatest thinkers of all the world, past to present. Would that give you confidence to talk to these so-called big shots without fear? Are you kidding, he replied. Why, I'd know so much that these guys could not help but respect me. They would be asking me to lunch. I wouldn't have to be afraid of them as I am now. I have been doing just that for many, many years, I told him. He looked up puzzled and shook his head. I guess I don't understand what you're talking about, he said. So I took the time to tell him, and it went like this. There is a hard way and an easy way to do almost everything. Over the years, I have tried many ways of acquiring knowledge. Finally, by trial and error, I hit on a very simple method. I've told a lot of other people about it, and they have reported results from it that are so spectacular that I have given it a name. I call it the 30-10 power formula. All that is required of you is 30 minutes a day. 10 minutes to read aloud, 20 minutes to spend in further study, reading good literature, or listening to inspiring and informative recordings. 30 minutes a day spent in this way will absolutely be sure to increase your knowledge and to assure you of increased success in any endeavor. Since few people have the persistence to adopt and stick to this program, if you do it, you will every day be outdistancing your competitors until there will be little left. The overwhelming majority of people daydream about success and say they want it, but they do not want it enough to adopt a definite program to prepare themselves to gain it. They do not work at it every day. They do not train themselves into the habits of success. They do not recognize the truth that that which they persist in doing becomes easier to do, not that the nature of the thing becomes less difficult, but through doing their power to do increases. Over a period of but 1 year, this 30-10 power formula will give you more than 180 hours of concentrated study. More important, it will develop in you the habit of reading good books and listening to fine recordings, a habit that will ensure and assure mental alertness and growth for every day. Don't wait until tomorrow to start this program. Begin today to put good ideas and worthwhile knowledge into your brain. Spend 30 minutes today, 10 minutes reading aloud, and 20 minutes in further study with good books or recordings. Do this for just 90 days, and you will be amazed at the knowledge you will gain, but even more at the change it will make in your own thinking, in your ability to express your thoughts more clearly, and in your confidence in your own words as you meet people with a freer approach. When I speak of knowledge, I mean more than just learning a number of facts. When you will build an inner quality of assurance that cannot be shaken. You will have at your command not only your own thoughts, but those of the wisest of men out of all the breadth of human experience. You will put the best minds of all the ages to work for you. You will have an unlimited reservoir of knowledge on which you can draw. As you read or listen to recordings in this planned, regular, and persistent way, do it with a purpose. You have set a goal for yourself. Read books and articles and listen to recordings which will help you reach that goal. Spend your time with the experts in that field as you receive their thoughts, especially as you read them aloud and they are given expression by you. A lot of their power will remain with you. You will get the accent of greatness into your own thinking. One big lesson out of my athletic career stands by me to this day. I learned that if you want to be good at anything, from sticking a left jab into your opponent's face, to hitting a ping-pong ball, to killing a handball in the left-hand corner of the front wall, you've got to practice regularly. And this applies to you whether you are now an outstanding expert or just a beginner. When Paderewski was known as the greatest pianist of his time, he told a reporter, "If I miss practicing for one day, I know it. If I miss a week, the critics know it. If I miss a month, the public knows it." I, myself, practice the 30-10 power formula every single day. I do it because I know that I can never make up for one day lost. I also know that it is my insurance for the future. Begin this practice today. Keep it up every day. Don't miss a day. You will get the habit of increasing your knowledge, which is the first of the habits of success. Habit. I wish I knew how to emphasize that word so as to give you a full sense of its power. It is the molder of human life. It is by the practice of good habits that you replace awkwardness with skill, that you substitute confident action for hesitation. Think of how unsure you were when you began driving a car. You were all on edge if you saw somebody crossing the street a block in front of you. You worried about every other car on the road. A big truck looked like a mountain ready to fall on you. Now, after years of driving, you talk freely as you drive. You miss another car by an inch, pass a truck without blinking an eye, and miss a pedestrian by a hair. What was once difficult has now become easy because by regular practice you have developed the habits which constitute skill. This is an example of what a habit can do for you. You have not said, "I'm going to develop the habit." You have just driven regularly and the habit has come. Truly, habit is like a cable, and you weave a strand a day until it becomes almost unbreakable. Good habits carry you to success, and bad habits inevitably ruin you. It's as simple as that. Practice the 30-10 power formula every day. Learning will become a habit. You will develop a mind alert for every demand that you put upon it. The 30-10 power formula will not only increase your knowledge and keep your mind alert, but in addition, it will make you more and more skillful in the use of words. It will greatly increase the number of the words you know and use. I have a friend who is one of the most successful direct mail salesmen in the United States and Canada. But he has always been somewhat shy about meeting college-trained people. He was conscious that his vocabulary was limited, and he was unsure about his pronunciation of words. About 1 year ago, he began to practice the 30-10 power formula. Just the other day, he said to me, "I find that I'm meeting people more confidently. I'm not as shy as I used to be, because I know I am speaking better." As you read aloud, you will hear your own voice saying new words. As you study, you will come on new words. Keep a dictionary handy. Look up every word with which you are not thoroughly familiar. If you run across a new word outside your home or office where you haven't a dictionary, write it down and then look it up the first chance you get. Words are your tools, and your tool chest is your dictionary. Get a good one and use it regularly. You cannot possess too many words. As you add to your store of them, you will express yourself more persuasively. You can make every new word your own. Use it 3 times out loud, and you will make it a permanent part of your vocabulary. Reading aloud will develop your voice. A good voice is an invaluable asset. It is the instrument upon which you play the symphony of your life. The power to persuade other people to do what you want them to do is not a gift handed to you on a silver platter. It is a power that is earned. It grows year by year in those who pay the price for it. A great part of this power lies in the knowledge and use of words. Know them. Make a point of knowing their emotional power. Develop the habit of using the right word in the right place. This will mean clearer thinking, greater self-confidence, more persuasive utterance. Love words. Hoard them. Enjoy them. You will meet people confidently when you know you speak well. With mastery over words, you will have a greater opportunity of winning the minds and hearts of those whose goodwill can be an asset to you. The simplest law of life, and also the most easily understood, comes right out of the soil. It is this quotation from the Bible: "Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." That is one law which no parliament or court will ever be able to repeal. The man who is to reap success must sow success. He makes a success of what he is doing right now, today. He concentrates on how he can do a better job, not on how he can get away with doing less. You may have 100 excuses for not succeeding, but you do not have one reason. Don't excuse yourself by saying that you have not had the breaks. You make your own breaks. What we like to call luck is only preparation meeting opportunity. Luck comes to the man who has prepared himself for it. There is a profound difference between the man who dreams and the one who merely daydreams. This difference is the will to achieve. The daydreamer has his vision and does nothing about it. The dreamer who turns his dream into reality is the one who says, "How do I get started?" He turns his face to his goal. He takes the first step. He goes forward step by step, day after day. He says, "This one thing I do," and he never lets anyone or anything turn him aside from the straight and true path to the achievement of his ambition. Because he has made every step and every day count, he is always prepared for the next step and the next day. Such a man with such a program cannot fail. Charles Kettering, the engineering genius of General Motors, once said, and I could not agree with him more, "We have come to fear failure too much. It is the practice essential to success." Preparation. Preparation of yourself for your opportunities is your assurance that someday your break will come. But your success depends not 50%, but 100% on the intensity of your will to achieve. Practice the 30-10 power formula without fail. Do it on days when you are feeling low as well as on days when you feel you are making progress. As the days pile up, you will be conscious of powers aroused and active in you, which will make you just as much the master of your own life and work as a master violinist is master of his instrument. Like him, you will know that you can achieve the accomplishments on which you have set your heart. Up to now, I have been talking about the first golden thread which leads to personal power, financial success, and better living: persistence. Now I come to the second golden thread: personality. This is the second law of personal success. What do I mean by personality? Put in a few words, what I mean is that in a man which enables him to impress other people favorably. Personality grows out of action. You are what you do. We are made for action. Our muscles develop through action. Our minds grow through action. Action is what develops and maintains the sound mind in the sound body. Your job is to follow that course of action which will develop your personality to make a success of your life. You are you. Be proud of being you. Work for and increase every day your liking and esteem for the one person with whom you will have to live and work all the days of your life, yourself. But remember this: you will never like yourself unless you know that others like you. Your self-esteem needs the esteem of others to support it. The interchange of self-esteem and the esteem of others grows out of a fundamental principle of great personal living. It is this: the more you like other people, the more you will fulfill yourself. And the more other people like you, the more you will have confidence in yourself. Let me put this in 4 sentences. People like to be appreciated. People like to be considered important. The more you like people and think them important, the more they will like and esteem you. The more other people esteem you, the more you will believe in yourself. I can give you no more valuable advice than this. Take the initiative in creating a friendly attitude between yourself and everybody you meet. This is the fundamental law for developing your own personality. Act always as a friend, and you will acquire friends. On Band 7, I gave you the first positive rule for creating a winning personality. Now let me give you the corresponding negative rule. Never indulge in worry or self-pity. Worry and self-pity are an unholy pair which tear down personality. You may have certain limitations. All of us have. But they do not need to stop you. The famous psychologist Alfred Adler says, "The power of human beings to turn a minus into a plus is among the finest and noblest of all human characteristics." What this means is that you accept your limitations, whatever they are, but you accept them as beginnings, not endings. They are not boundaries beyond which you cannot go. They are your starting points for progress. You act to overcome them. As you overcome them, they actually turn into your greatest strengths. The greatest handicap Winston Churchill had to face in his ambition to become a statesman was his speech handicap. He lisped. He knew he had to overcome it. He acted. He turned his biggest liability into his greatest asset and became the first orator of his generation. Don't pity yourself because you have some weakness. Attack it. Accept it as a challenge. Act to overcome your weakness, and it will become your strength. Just as you put self-pity to flight by taking action, so you defeat worry by confidence. What is worry? Worry is pain suffered for something which has not happened, and, in the majority of cases, will never happen. Worry paralyzes your use of knowledge, neutralizes experience, strangles initiative, and stifles ingenuity. Worry destroys skill. You can overcome worry by these steps. First, assert your control over your own mind. Second, face your problem at its very worst. Look it right in the eye. Third, analyze the situation with a positive attitude, asking, what can I do to make the best of it? Fourth, act. Do something about it. There is nothing like action to put negative thoughts to flight. As you act, your mind will automatically turn to thoughts of success. Your program of action will cast out worry and replace it with a sense of accomplishment. Do not be frightened by your own fears. Turn your fear into faith. Every obstacle you will ever meet, inside or outside yourself, is a call to you to set your creative faculties in motion. No hurdle can ever stop you unless you refuse to jump. Whenever you feel self-pity or face fear and worry, do something that will move you forward. Action puts fear to flight and builds self-confidence. Now let us get back to the positive. A winning personality is the result of the art and practice of affirmative living. It is the achievement of the man who says yes to life. That is what we call positive thinking. A positive mental attitude stimulates the mind, awakens dormant powers, and mobilizes all our resources to cope with whatever we have to meet. Only positive thinking can enable you to control the two important people in any transaction, yourself and the other fellow. There are 4 books which have influenced more human beings over a longer period than any others in all human history. The Bible, the Quran, the sayings of Buddha, and the writings of Confucius. They have succeeded in getting men to think and act. How? Let us consider the Bible. First, it offers us something we dreadfully want and definitely need. Second, it talks to us about ourselves, our problems, our desires, our needs. Third, it speaks to us in simple language we can easily understand. Fourth, it tells and retells the great story of the unending quest of the human spirit over and over again in many ways. Fifth, it affirms, it never argues. Here are the 5 characteristics of positive thinking. You can apply them to yourself and to your dealings with everybody you meet. As you do, you will speak with confidence but without arrogance. Your own positive attitude will call forth a positive attitude from the people you meet and do business with. Your positive attitude will itself bring forth accomplishment. You will uncover your own hidden resources of mind and heart. You will say, I can, where others fall beside the road because they say, I cannot. You will have the will to win. You can be what you decide to be. Think success, and you will attract success. Let me give you 3 simple but basic personality secrets. 1, don't let your competitor get under your skin. Envy or bitterness will poison your own thinking and alienate those who find you envious or bitter. 2, courtesy sweetens all human relations. Courtesy is the tribute your own dignity pays to the dignity of the other fellow. Courtesy makes and keeps friends. 3, get under the other fellow's skin. You will have a personality which wins results when the key to your personality is that it unlocks the hearts of those who know you best. I come now to a point which has meant everything in the world to me, but which I feel is sometimes overlooked or underemphasized in our usual approach to developing a strong and winning personality. I cannot put this too emphatically. Out of my own experience, I say to you, the one indispensable prerequisite of power-packed living is a healthy body. You know this, but what are you doing about it? Your body is the house which nature has given you. You have to live in it every minute of your existence. How much do you know about it? How much care and attention do you give to it, to keeping it up at its best? First of all, get hold of the fact that what you eat today is what you are made of tomorrow. There is no excuse for any of us to put into our bodies that which does not fully meet their demands for healthy nourishment. Farmers feed livestock scientifically. Why should you not do for yourself what the farmer does for his livestock by eating wisely and well? Few people eat scientifically. You can give yourself a tremendous advantage over your fellows if you do. Take pains to know food and to eat for your health's sake. Second, remember that health is ease, sickness is disease. I have never met a man bubbling with health who is not enthusiastic. It is the man who is not healthy who is tired and discouraged. Why do children full of grace, energy, and zest for life grow up to be adults who are round-shouldered, shuffling, and dyspeptic? There are 4 main reasons: improper diet, lack of exercise, insufficient sleep, and faulty mental attitudes. I quickly add that their faulty mental attitudes are largely the result of the other 3. I have given you my 30-10 power formula for improving your mind. I now strongly urge you to set up a sensible regime of diet, exercise, and relaxation for your body. A combination of mental alertness and physical health will mean the dawn of a new and brighter day for you. The road to health is not paved with good intentions. It is paved with knowledge of the body, care of the diet, regular exercise, due relaxation, and mental attitudes that are positive, bold, creative, and optimistic. Begin today to give your body a break. Good health is one asset beyond any measurement in price. It can be yours when you decide it shall be. Decide now.